Hey everyone, it is Tech, and I am back from vacation. On this episode, we are recapping all the stuff that I missed from IndiE3 and a bunch of other cool stuff. This is episode 8 of the Indie Game Riot!
Indie Game Riot! Hey everybody, this is JaShinYa, and like Tech said, this is the IndiE3 recap episode. Again, this is not our usual formatted show, so sorry if you enjoy our format and you're afraid of change, but tough shit. So,
it's coming back soon, don't worry.
Yeah.
Next week we'll have normal show.
Next week, normal show, but this week, Indie Cap. What? You know what I'm saying. IndiE3 recap, Indie Cap, we'll just call it that. That's got a nice ring to it.
It does.
But yeah, like Tech said, he was gone for the entire week. He missed IndiE3, and he should he's bad, and he should feel bad for that. But
I do. I really do. You guys have done a really good job of making me feel bad.
I've been trying to convince him to commit seppuku, but, you know, he doesn't have the support.
I don't have the right
I am
sword.
dishonoring my family.
You know, I have a beard, so I'd have to shave that off to look more
You have to grow.
Asian.
You have to like shave the top of your head, leave a ponytail.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's a lot of work that I don't have to go through, and then the whole killing part.
Yeah, suicide is just a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So much paperwork and riffraff to go through. It's not worth it.
But you were on vacation, but you were still doing something kind of game related, since it was your thing.
I was. Yeah. Yes, I was at Origins Game Fair because I haven't been talking about that enough. Usually it's either I've realized it's either Tech's weekly weather report or Tech goes to Origins.
The worst news segment on the local channels.
Exactly. There we go. I got all my tabs mixed up. So I was at Origins, and there were a lot of cool stuff to talk about, but I'm not going to bore you with a lot of that. I want to talk to you guys about an amazing game that I played on the first night that I was there, and I got to talk with the developers of the game, the owners of the company, and it was really cool because it was an indie dev making a board game, and it was something totally different that I've never played before, and that is a game called Kobolds Ate My Baby.
It sounds, just from the title, it sounds awesome.
It sounds like an SNES game.
It does. And let me tell you, it was super fun. It's by 9th Level Games. This isn't part of the show. This is just me, like, trying to tell you guys, if you're into tabletop games, if you like D&D, play Kobolds Ate My Game. Kobolds Ate My Baby, because Kobolds Ate My Baby, you play the lowest life form possible, a kobold. And if you don't know what a kobold is a little dog-like creature that likes eating babies.
I thought they were lizards.
No, they're dragonkin.
Yeah.
No, that's what D&D wants you to think. That's what Wizards of the Coast wants you to think. Kobolds have always been these little dog creature things.
It's a conspiracy.
No, those are dingoes.
No. I talked to the creators of the game. I have the express authority. I'm just kidding. Anyway, you play as a... Yeah, exactly. I'm not actually angry, viewers at home. I talked to the developers of this game, the guys who created this game. They taught themselves how to use Illustrator to make the rule book that a few of the guys that I was with bought at the place. But you play as a kobold, the lowest life form, and character creation is very quick because they don't expect you to live very long.
Well,
you're a kobold.
In D&D, a kobold is only a challenge rating 0.25.
Yeah,
that's like
a 1/4 challenge.
That's
rating,
like
exactly.
that and goblins. It's like the very first things you come across.
They are so low and dumb that if the DM thinks that you are doing something too spectacular, you have to make a spontaneous death check. A spontaneous death check is if you have used a word that has too many syllables or done something that seems a little bit too crazy, then there's a chance that you will literally just explode. And there's a roll for that. That is the game. And to bring your character back, you can on your next turn you can make a soliloquy. You can speak a soliloquy about your kobold and their life. And
but But isn't the word soliloquy just a little bit too advanced for kobolds?
Well, yes, but I mean, it's dead, so it's been to heaven and kobold heaven and knows all these cool words. And there are other cool rules, like whenever anyone says King Trog, all hail King Trog, you have to say all hail King Trog. I am clipping my mic a little bit.
Way to go! You just ruined the show.
Yeah, I know. But they actually had this a 9 to 12 p.m. or 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Huge room of it that they do every year at Origins, to where if one person says King Trog, that group says all hail King Trog, and then every other group in the entire room of like over 100 people just yelling at the top of their lungs, all hail King Trog, and or Torg. I'm gonna get railed on for that if I get it wrong. Grot Trog. It's Trog. But you play kobolds. It's a lot of fun, and I got some of the info. I talked to the guys who made it a bunch, so it'd be cool if we could get them on the show. Actually, and I know it's not really video gamey, but
you said he's man, my voice just broke. Sorry, puberty, guys. You said he's a game dev as well, or are you talking about just board games?
Oh, they do board games. They only do board games.
Okay. He's an independent board game developer.
Yeah, and it's not just one guy. It's a company of like 8 people.
Which you know what? I think that has a spot in our show. They've been doing this for I think it was 8 to 10 years. They have other games, I think. Maybe.
Maybe not. But I think this is their big game, and the way they sell it is the original beer and pretzels role playing game. You can pick it up, and all we had were one rule book, some torn out pieces of paper, and a piece of paper with a map on, and dice as our players. And one of the guys I was playing with was a kobold who killed a woman, another kobold, the woman's husband, and 2 Vikings. And
that's impressive.
And a blacksmith. And it was the thing is that after that he changed his name to Ugg the Invincible, and the DM was like, you don't know that word, make a spontaneous death check, and he survived. He survived.
Oh, he survived.
I would have named him Kobold the Kobold.
Yeah, you could have done that. Yeah.
All right. I'm praise my creativity. Thank you.
Yeah, but I feel like if you want to know anything else about what I didn't talk about at Origins, there's a video on my channel. Link probably in the description. Maybe it's cool. Check it out.
Pimped.
And you're gonna do multiple of those videos, yeah?
Well, I think I'm probably gonna take the video that I made, the end of the video with just about Kaiju Chaos, and put that up. Okay. Maybe take the segment about just some of the individual games, and then I'm going to talk about Xia Legends of Drift System, which is also made by one independent board game developer. One guy over the course of 10 years, but that's another story for another day. So,
yeah.
Link in the description.
Awesome.
You guys talk about IndiE3.
Yeah.
Make me all jealous and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to rub this in.
Because it's not like I was having fun, guys. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. You with your bourbon.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, that bourbon is gone.
Oh, I imagine.
It's all cheap beer now.
So, kind of segue on that, I played a game called Cosmic Encounters last night, but that has nothing to do with IndiE3. It was just a fun board game. It's complicatedly simple and amazing. I just wanted to mention that. I'm not as good at segues, sorry. So
just
IndiE3...
Just say segue. That's how you got to do it.
Segue. That's how you do it.
Segue. So IndiE3 was a fantastic event. I'm not going to go into much about what we did there, other than mention in passing that we did a live broadcast and it was awesome. And much awesomeness to Josh for being there, and Phil Royer for guest hosting, etc. But favorite moments out of IndiE3 was God, there were so many. The sense of community and inclusion was like the overarching huge deal for me. Like the entire thing. Like, yeah, there were some people that were kind of assholes, but you know, at the same time, like I'm an asshole. I can't fault people.
Well, we're talking about the internet too, so I mean,
yeah,
you got to expect that sort of thing to happen.
Yeah, but I mean, like all of the panelists were absolutely amazing, and you know, even the people that were putting forward ideas that I don't necessarily agree with, you know, politically speaking or economically speaking, like they did a fantastic job of you know, couching everything and very much, you know, this is how we see it, this is how I feel about it, you know, take our information, do your own research into it, and like the whole event, this was a week-long event. Like most cons are like, oh, it's 3 days or it's 4 days. No, this was 6.5 days, and then we did 2 other special days afterwards. There was like a wrap up and otherwise, and the whole thing was just, oh, the energy was amazing. The game trailers, Solon and the other guys that were doing that, like every single game that was being shown that were, you know, in the showcasing. Like, they were excited about it. They had something awesome to say about it. And, like, I'll be honest, some of the games I was like, I have my own personal taste. And there were some that I was just like, man, this looks like a crappy, like, I have no interest in this. It almost looks like there was zero development whatsoever. And, like, they still were able to find ways to express excitement about that. And actually changed my mind on a couple of them based on, you know, the things that they were pointing out about what we were seeing. In
general, too, just talking about that sort of thing. It wasn't just the hosts who, you're right, they did a great job in just finding, you know, positive things to talk about, you know, great games and the not so great games, but also just the amount of camaraderie about, you know, among the attendees. And it was the amount of support that everyone showed for each other, and the amount of networking. Yeah, I know a bunch of you out there, the new people who joined since IndiE3, as far as our audience goes, listening to us. You guys, you know, that was part of it. Networking is, you know, and actually one part when we were recording, you know, thanks to James from the Indie Box. You know,
bring back the box.
Right, bring back the box. Hashtag that. We talked about the Indie Box on a previous episode, but we got to interview him on the show, and I forget where I was going with this now. But anyway, yeah, we talked to him, so thanks to him about that, and he gave away, you know, a box there, and
one of the people that was participating.
Yeah, right.
Do you remember? Were you there? I know you were kind of hit and miss, what with a job and all. But were you there when we found out that people were actually getting hired through IndiE3?
That's what it was. That's what I was going to talk about, actually. That's why I brought up the Indie Box as well, other than the thinking, is that, I mean, even just to give an example of the amount of networking, Phil Royer, who we had on the show in Tech's Place just to, you know, as a guest.
Yeah, great guy, great guy. Really fills the void.
Yeah. Oh, I can feel the butt hurt. Anyway. No, we love you.
Yeah, no, I kid.
No, but Phil, he got to talk to. I mean, we talked to James after we were done recording, and he got to talk to James from the Indie Box. And while his game doesn't technically meet their requirements, James was still willing to find a way to get him a little bit of exposure through their program. You know, he wouldn't be a featured game because, you know, there's like that specific has to be 75 or higher on Steam and 8 out of 10 on ADDB.
And it's available on every operating system.
Right, but he was like, you know what? Maybe we can find a way to get it in, you know, just like as an extra in the box for everyone. You know what I mean? Instead of the featured game.
Well, not only that, but like I was saying, like people legitimately got jobs through IndiE3. One of the guys that was doing I don't remember if it was an interview or it was a panel, but he made mention of the fact, he made mention of the fact that he was looking for a musician to do the soundtrack for one of their upcoming projects. And then like 2 hours later like it was all over the internet. Like somebody was like, "Hey, I just got hired thanks to IndiE3. I'm going to be doing music for an upcoming project for this developer."
Man, those musicians were freaking amazing.
Oh, yeah, the musicians were fantastic, but like like people legitimately got hired and paying gigs through just the sheer amount of, hey, you're in chat and you do this. I'm looking for somebody that can do a little bit of voiceover work for this. Can you shoot me over something?
I actually got a couple because I do the voiceovers, and I just casually was like, hey, anyone in IndiE3 needs a voiceover artist, check out me. And then I got responses from a few different people. So I mean, I might even be getting bumping the thing. I might even be getting hired through that as far as my voiceovers are concerned. But
so, yeah, the networking was fantastic.
Yeah, and speaking about the music though, if you haven't noticed already, we're using different music, and our plan is for every episode to use an indie video game music or musician's work. If you make music for video games, and we think, unfortunately, if it's not quite up to what we're expecting, if it's just like,
we should probably clarify that.
Yeah.
If we like it, we'll use it. We're not trying to be dicks, but like if it fits.
If it fits.
Background music is background music, but if it's like extreme battle, like this is a boss battle.
It's just like I don't mind having different music either. The way I'm thinking of it is just like how we do the games. If we don't want to have to feature games, because we're also worried about the consumers that listen, the indie game fans. We don't want to say, hey, go buy this game, go support it, when it's really not that great of a game, to be honest.
Exactly.
So same thing kind of goes with music. We want to feature the best of the best. That said, we're pretty open to most music. I do want to try and stick to more upbeat stuff like Tech was saying, but so if it's really somber, I probably won't use it, but that doesn't mean your music's bad. So just put that out there. But I'll give the credit for the music in this episode at the end of the show, so no worries if you are wondering who it is, so you can go check them out. And of course the link will be in the descriptions and everything like that, and on the Reddit, our subreddit, which is r/r/indie game riot. Man,
did you forget your warm-ups again?
I forgot speaking. And then also one other thing before we move on to the games. I want to say thanks to a very kind comment by a fan. We like to do that every time, not every time, because if we get a lot of them, we don't have time for every single one. But this one particularly stands out, and I would just want to say thanks to Tony Yotes, or at least that's what his Twitter handle is, @TonyYotes. He said, "Please never stop posting. This podcast is one of my favorite ways to catch up on my fellow indie devs." And again, seeing messages like that is really encouraging to us, so thank you.
Definitely.
And Tony, this is the episode to catch up on indie devs, because holy crap, do we have a lot of indie devs.
Yeah. And we're not going to stop as long as people are enjoying what we're doing. So
well, and even if they're not, I don't intend on stopping. So
right. We're having fun.
Also, it was Torg. I was wrong.
Oh.
Well, now you should just excommunicate yourself.
Yep. I should just. That's a poo-poo idea. I'm starting to fill out more of the paperwork now. So.
And the last thing is thanks to all of you guys at IndiE3. Those of you that are listening now or watching on YouTube, whatever platform. Thank you so much for being amazing at IndiE3. It was borderline miraculous how it came about and how it proceeded with minimal hiccups. So thank you for being great. Thank you for an awesome community, and I hope we can continue to give back to all of you.
Definitely.
Now, here comes the we got like I said, we're not doing our normal standard episode, so we have a long list. Put this in perspective. There are at IndiE3 there were over 200 games that were featured?
It was 185 games that were showcased, and then there were 19 games that were entered into the IndiE3 Jam.
Yeah, so there
was over 200 total games that ended up being shown through the course of IndiE3.
Right. So first of all, out of those 200 games, I wish it was possible for us to really actually give you all shout-outs, but we're not, because that would take for freaking ever. Secondly, we actually narrowed that down to like
100?
out of all the ones that we really, really liked, to like 100. And again, that was still way too much. So unfortunately, we can't, shout everyone out that was at IndiE3 or anything like that. But those of you, those indie devs that were kind enough to send us links or send us codes to allow us to review the games, we wanted to at least give you guys a shout out as a thanks. So we're going to go through and give, I don't know, it was approximately 25-ish?
Thereabouts, yeah.
Approximately 25 games. Just quick description of their games, and so you guys are aware of them being in existence. So go check them out. Most of them, I don't know if most of them are, but a lot of them are free, like open betas and things like that. Support them, vote on Greenlight, that sort of things. And once we get to the end of that, we'll go into
Awesome Sauce.
Awesome Sauce, yeah. Those are. We just have a few games specifically that we wanted to go deeper into because of how amazing they are.
I'm in this segment too.
Yes, Tech. This is what you get for missing everything. But yeah.
I know. No, yeah.
So this first segment, we're kind of calling it the indie cap, is what we were saying beforehand.
Yeah, indie cap.
And these are like Josh was saying, this was a difficult thing for us to kind of narrow all of these down. You could consider this kind of a long version of the Peep Show segment, because most of these are still in development. And the ones that aren't, we'll make sure to note those and say, hey, this one's actually out and completed. So,
yeah. And then the ones that we'll talk about in depth are the ones that we really think that you should definitely check out. But all of them are awesome too. But anyway,
yeah.
Drum roll, and I'll give this a start, and we're gonna go bang, bang, bang. So everyone, keep up. Here we go. Yeah, whatever. First game is called Away Team by Lost Zombies Studios. Away Team, a new game by Lost Zombies Studios, lets you manage a lost ship and its crew in deep space, control individual crew members on dangerous away missions to hostile planets and derelict space stations, survive by upgrading your crews and gear and specializations while evolving your ship's systems as you go.
So what did it look like?
It is it's a ship management game very similar to FTL, but in a more 3D-ish atmosphere, and a little bit of crafting, a little bit of RPG element, and it was really cool. It is in early access.
Oh, okay. Avalon Lords by my good friend Adira. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but she goes by Adi on Skype, and she's one of the developers for that. Absolutely fantastic game. It is a kingdom-building RTS game where your primary goal is to take over the world as the rightful king of your people and your subjects. It is definitely still in development, but oh my god, does it look amazing. Like, I'm talking StarCraft 2 level graphics, and it's really impressive just where it's at right now. I am following this one with so much interest.
Tech.
Okay, me. Shining Spirits. Shining Spirits is an RPG that, mind you, looks freaking beautiful. About characters living in a world controlled by a man who has just recently taken control of the government that killed his family. Lots of good and evil, and a crazy, sadistic warlord in the mix definitely gives this game a whole lot of promise. And did I mention that? And province. Did I mention this game looks amazing? Like we're talking like if. It reminds me of like Cave Story almost, but like super high def for Cave Story. The art's really good. The screenshots that they have look amazing, and it seems like an RPG that I might actually want to play.
Tech, you definitely want to. I will warn you. I spent quite a bit of time playing this, and there are some bugs. Nothing game breaking.
Okay.
And I spoke with the developer on that, and he said he was aware and was working to fix them.
And
Sweet.
Well, and as with all early access games, you're going to run across that sort of stuff. So don't be too judgmental of that.
No, like the bugs on that one specifically was like you walk onto a button and your character runs underneath the graphic for the button itself.
Small stuff.
Yeah, little tiny.
It'll get fixed.
Yeah.
Anyway, up next, Quarries of Scred. Quarries of Scred harks back to a simple arcade style. Dig down, collect different minerals and dirt ore, and return to cash in. Strategic use of lasers, landmines, and self-destruction will ensure access to hard-to-reach areas, though care must be taken at all times within the Quarries of Scred. And this really reminds me of Dig Dug, and you, Tech, said there's a game I never played, but you said it reminded you of...
No, that was
me. You know, I'm sorry, Rev.
Tech's like,
I saw Tech's name on the notes.
Oh, gotcha.
Tech's like, wait, what? No,
what did it remind you of?
Boulder Dash.
Boulder Dash, yeah.
Never heard of it.
Oh my god!
I didn't either, but those of you who know what Boulder Dash is, this apparently reminds Rev a lot of Boulder Dash. It's an extremely simple game. It's 2D graphics. The graphics really aren't anything like wow, but that's because of the kind of game it is.
It looks like a game that I would play.
It looks like a game that you would
fun.
play on like in an 80s arcade. You know what I mean?
Which is exactly what Boulder Dash was.
Well, there you go. So, but if you, it made me rage like crazy, but it was very addicting. I wanted to succeed, but yeah, it is a very good game. Go check it out.
Next up on our list is Dayglo Empire. Dayglo Empire is an anti-shmup platform runner made in 10 days for the Cyberpunk Jam of early 2014. It has a cyberpunk storyline voiced by a robotic narrator, so you've got to stand still at the beginning of each level to hear that. Dayglo, by the way, is a highly controlled psychoactive substance. With the number of insurgents of the Order dwindling, it's more difficult than ever to get your hands on it and more dangerous than ever to run. Stay safe out there. Really kind of fun puzzle, not really puzzle, but side-scroller, jumpy type game. You literally only have the 3 controls, left, right, and jump. But there's guys shooting at you, you're getting Dayglo, you're running from the cops, tons of fun. So, check that one out.
If you think we're going too fast for you, then you might want to try and get your speed up by playing Super Murder Wolf. Super Murder Wolf is a hover bike, beat synchronized serpentine Martian landscape racing game where you start and you're going left and right, dodging obstacles. I will say it is fast. It took me a second to actually realize that it was beat synced, but when I did, it became a lot cooler and a lot more fun. The songs switch up on you, but the music is amazing. The visuals are really cool. Very simple left and right controls, or A and D, depending on which you want to do. They're all both standard. I will say that the view is a little bit weird for me, but nothing I couldn't get used to. So this one's definitely, you can just go on their website and play it.
Next up is Deity Quest. Deity Quest is a lighthearted Pokemon-inspired RPG where you play as an ambitious young god, recently assigned to a world, Aberos, to convert followers and gain power. Your goal is to become the Overgod, the highest position among the many gods of Aberos, develop your divine magic, support your followers in fast-paced 6 vs 6 battles, adventure through locations, and compete with other deities in your quest to reach the top. This one really caught my eye because it was a very unique combination of different genres. It reminded me, the turn-based battling reminded me a lot of like a Final Fantasy type, actually, rather than Pokemon, just because of the multiple battles battling each other. And also along with a God Sim, along with an RPG where you're leveling up your different powers and things like that. And there was something else that was mixed in there too, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. But just for the interesting concept alone, it's interesting. And I did get to play it. There's a free version on newgrounds.com if you search it there, and also it is going to have a paid version as well eventually.
Cool. Next up is Cascada. It is a game with empathy built right into the mechanics. Everything you do will be for the person that you're playing with, whether it's collecting diamonds to destroy the kill blocks that are falling on them, or giving them life to prevent a game over. The developer wanted to make a game that required you to look out for your teammate and not just out for yourself. Design-wise, it looks kind of like it's kind of got the bubble bobble type feel to it, that kind of that kind of mechanic to it, and a bit of kind of an almost Tetris-y thing, like whomever has the bar that is falling towards them, the other person has to jump up and grab the corresponding diamond to destroy that bar before it hits your teammate. They do also have a one-player mode where you're placed in the role of both players, and you must avoid the blocks but not let those touch the bottom of the screen or it's game over. It is currently on sale.
That one sounds really fun. Our next game is, and I wasn't just saying that in passing, that game actually does sound very fun.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, no, it sounds fun. Yeah, I'm about to try to transition. Midboss is a game where you start out, it is a roguelike game where you start out as an imp and you slowly have to take possession of your defeated enemies to get through the dungeon. You start out basically with your only ability being to possess other creatures, and you get different abilities, get stronger, and because it's a roguelike, you only have one life, and your save game gets destroyed when you get destroyed. Permadeath, and that's the way they like it. It is currently in pre-alpha and only available for Windows, but they are currently working very hard for a Linux and an OS X version. And they're working so hard on it that they have the Windows link on their site, but they also have the Linux and Mac placeholders for when they do get those links. So if you are a Mac or a Linux user, definitely check this out. The art style is cool. The concept is one that I personally haven't seen, but definitely worth a look.
The next one, I'm hoping I don't just butcher these words, is called Ixia. And Ixia is a mangling of the Inuit word Ixuarpok. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Ixuarpok. I don't know. This word is untranslatable into English, which may explain why I can't pronounce it, but means something like the feeling of anticipation that leads you to go outside and check if anyone is coming. That is a lot out of that one word. The reason we chose this name is because the game is based on a coming-of-age story where an Inuit Eskimo boy goes into the wilderness to become a man, while his family anxiously waits for his return. Reminds me a lot of, was that 10,000 BC? Is that movie? I don't know. Anyway,
like that.
But this game actually reminds me a lot of, we didn't actually tell the story on the show, but talking about networking, we talked to Beth, who is a developer who makes games specifically geared towards minorities and people.
Not
minorities, but you know what?
Yeah.
You can maybe explain that better. I don't know.
Okay, so Beth is a member of the First Peoples, I believe is the current terminology. If I'm incorrect on that, I apologize. But she does a lot of work on the sociological aspect of Aboriginal groups and their integrations into the gaming communities and development. She ran a fantastic panel on what not to do with Native Americans in video games. And
that's
really
great.
Cool. She's got a master's degree. She's done several educational games for like the museum, the Smithsonian Museum, as I recall. And she's working on a couple of games, or she's working on at least one game that she could talk about, and that it's going to focus heavily on the native culture.
And I'm not trying to say that to take away from Ixia, but just reminded me a lot of that kind of game where it's very I can't think of words today.
Culturally significant.
Thank you. There you go. That's it. First of all, in the graphics, it is early access, so there's not a whole lot there yet, but the graphics, it looks like they're putting a lot of work into it. It's full 3D, and it's a nice big environment and everything like that, so definitely give it a check out.
And they even say on their website built by a dedicated team of tryhards that don't know when to stop a 30-day project, because this game was made for like a 30-day competition on 64digits.com.
Right.
Cool. So next up on our list is a game by our good friend Phil. You might have heard him on our live broadcast for IndiE3. Super Pixalo is currently on the Steam Greenlight system. You need to go vote for it. Last I heard it was nearing its completion, but go vote yes on it. Damn it, I want this. It's currently available for the Ouya. But he's trying to make it out through Steam. It's the story of a pixel from a 1960s rock and roll themed arcade cabinet. Join Pixalo as he travels over 50 years of pop culture and a music of self-discovery. This has an original soundtrack by, and I apologize if I butcher the name, Saad Ali. It has controller support for the PS3 and Xbox 360 controllers, 124 levels, 121 collectibles that you can get through it. The level design was amazing, and I can't gush enough about this game, but go vote for it on Steam.
Sounds really
game.
That one also sounds really fun and super big.
No,
I miss
it really
big
is.
Games.
The soundtrack for it is also pretty damn cool. He's got it out on his on Bandcamp, and I might have spent a bit of money to buy that.
And if you're a fan of the Super Meat Boy type of game, definitely check it out.
Definitely.
Redshift. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you guys.
No, you're fine. I was
okay. Cool, awesome. Redshift, which is our next game. It is a mobile game where you run around as the last surviving member of a nuclear power plant on meltdown. Find and fix parts of the plant before time runs out. It is a new experience every time, with the levels randomly generating, and you are racing against the clock to save yourself and the surrounding area before this power plant explodes. Fast-paced, full 3D graphics, even though it is a 2D side-scrolling, but damn does this game look like a lot of fun if only I had a phone that could run it.
Well, speaking of mobile games, actually, the next one is Wake the Dreamer. It's also a mobile game on iOS and Android. The game is, I don't know, it seems like a pretty big game for a mobile phone, so that's why it's impressive to me. But you can create your very own character to live in the microverse that exists in your phone, help or inhibit your character through the choices that you make, explore two separate worlds. There's a dream world and the real world. Wake the Dreamer, the game runs in real time, so when even though your phone's off, the game is still going. So it allows you to explore both worlds at your leisure. You can customize your character, so if you're into that sort of thing, you can customize it with different outfits, weapons, and armor, depending on what world you're in. Uncover the motivations behind a mysterious character, Sand, and why he's so interested in you and your character. So there is a possible antagonist to this, which is why it's impressive to me, because it's kind of like almost like a story in this whole like open-endedness, and it's really cool. You can also find romance, work, and friendships for your character, and much, much more.
And this is for iOS and Android?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Go check it out.
Can't beat that?
No.
Next up on our awesome list of awesome is Afternoon Hero. It is currently available on Ouya and the iOS, I believe a couple of other Android and Fire TV.
That's like Amazon's thing.
Oh, okay. It is a short and sweet old school platformer. You are the blonde-haired hero who's actually a little boy who's trying to save his dog from a gang of punks. Or at least that's what I got from what I was seeing. You have three controls again. You have left, right, and jump. And unfortunately, it's not as simple as the controls would make you think. Every challenge is hand-tailored to a specific strategy, and it's got a one-hit-to-die style, like those of us that played, Contra and such. Has boss fights with a more beat-em-up type deal, and basically your dog got stolen, and you're looking for your dog. Looks like a lot of fun. It kind of has the view of I want to say like almost a Mario 2.
Ooh,
is kind of the graphical style of it. Is what I would say.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Next on our list is Chronicles of a Dark Lord, Episode 1, Tides of Fate. This game is the first in the series of old-school style RPGs, sort of like Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest or Phantasy Star, and also is very similar to more modern titles like Cthulhu Saves the World or Breath of Death 7. Enter a world of shadowy intrigue where stained pasts collide with the present in an explosive confrontation that will define one young man's dark destiny as he attempts to thwart the machinations. I don't know how to say it. Machinations. It depends on, what part of the country you're from. Of a true evil beyond all imagining. This game has a really cool overworld mechanic with turn-based fighting similar to the older Final Fantasy games before they got into 3D.
It's not true turn-based.
No, okay, right.
I've actually spent a lot of time playing this one as well. It's because it astounded me. It's like the first game I've ever played where I'm the villain. Like, you are the bad guy that's going out to commit genocide. But
hey, I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So.
Like, you start the game by betraying your father and killing his entire army and taking over the kingdom.
So you're basically playing what good stories are written about.
Exactly. So there's that, but there's the point that I was going to make on it was I forgot. Never mind. Moving on.
All right. But before we move on, it does say episode 1, but this is a full game. They want to make sure that this is a full game, but there are going to be, and it is a finished product, and it's going to be released August 31st. Or it was released August 31st, and it's currently on Steam Greenlight for you to download on Steam. They also have a really cool marketing tactic to where they link to a Let's Play of the game, so you know what you're getting into when you buy the game, which is kind of awesome. So
definitely awesome. I haven't watched the Let's Play of it because I've been too busy playing it.
Yeah.
So, okay, next up we have The Weavers by Guru Meditation Project, I believe. And it is a fantasy point-and-click adventure with several RPG elements within a dark and mature setting. The Weavers gameplay is kind of a Monkey Island, Journey, etc., but kind of adds to it with its own original features. I apologize. I haven't gone over it too much. But basically you build your characters up, or you build your character up through a talent tree. You can solve puzzles in different ways. Either, that's a locked door. I can, punch my way through it. I can pick the lock, or I can convince somebody to open it. You can explore the illustrated scenarios that give you the world around you. And, investigate the entire history of the place in order to figure out, what lies behind the gods and creation. Looks way, way interesting. I can't wait to actually sink my teeth into this one.
The Weavers is actually another one of those games that I was looking forward to because of, again, the mashup of genres in it.
Yeah.
It's a point and click and with interesting, RPG and stuff like that, and the art's really cool, too.
Yeah, the art is.
Speaking of really cool, I almost called it Tango. Tango Fiesta, which was one of the most badass trailers that we saw in IndiE3. Matter of fact, it won our favorite trailer during our live show. But Tango Fiesta is a top-down cooperative shooter for 1 to 4 players. Imagine the events from every single 80s action film ever made actually happened to one guy. Well, that's you and up to 3 friends, and they get to blast, shoot, and knife your way through procedurally generated levels as the ultimate 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 man army. So, again, badass trailer. Loved it. It reminds me, if any of you out there know Broforce, it reminded me a lot of that, except this is top-down as opposed to 2D side-scrolling. And it's if you love your 80s action movies and you got, hair popping out of your chest just at the sound of this description, and just, I don't know, testosterone pouring out of your face, this is your game.
I'm saying, when I watched the trailer, the first 2 films that it reminded me of were first all of the Rambo movies all in one, just as one movie, and then Red Dawn.
Yes, I see that.
Any problem? No.
Guns, murder.
Going to something a little bit different. Avoid Droid is a, how did they describe this? A passive shmup fruit 'em up arcadey dodger for
fantastic.
Currently for the PlayStation Vita, and also soon to be for iOS devices. Come on, guys, get on Android. Come on, guys.
Yeah, really.
Anyway, you are basically playing a fruit thing, and you're collecting items on the screen, and it's sort of like a bullet hell where there are a lot of things shooting around. It is a shmup after all, and there's not a whole lot to talk about, but the art style is very childlike, and I feel like gamers of all ages, whether you're 5 or 55, will enjoy this game.
I was pissed off that it's not on Android because I don't have iOS nor a Vita.
Yeah, and yeah, I feel like Droid has taken its place in our culture. Come on, just like with the operating systems on PC, there's also Mac and Linux. Come on, there's Droid, and
I actually talked to a couple of people about that. A couple of developers. Sorry for the sidetrack here, but no, I talked to a couple of developers that develop for both platforms, and the reason for that is on iOS they can get more sales for the release. If they release it on Android, they will get more players.
Huh.
But statistically, on Android, people are less likely to buy the game. But if it's released for free, they're way more likely to play it.
So why not?
So release a free game with ads on Android and release a buy game with ads on iOS.
According to the guys that I was talking to, a fairly common procedure is you release it on iOS and you get a bit of sales from that and use that to port that over for Android, and then you get a much wider audience that you can then tie into the rest.
Huh.
Awesome.
Well, next up, that has nothing to do with iOS or anything like that. A game called Children of Liberty. When forced, the little description here.
Tips and tongue.
Yeah. When forced spies are arrested, infiltrating the mansion of Royal Governor Thomas Gage, the Patriots call upon their children to finish their mission, spring them from jail, and uncover the details of a conspiracy that could plunge the colonies into war. And if you couldn't tell, this is taking place in the American Revolution, and specifically in Boston. What's really cool about this game is that this is a stealth game, and I was talking about this in the live show, that you can play with one hand, literally. It's WASD, Shift, the E button, and space, and maybe Control. I forget if that was a thing too. Now, again, it's available on Steam. Greenlight. It's actually on sale right now for $5 at the time of this recording. I looked. But it is very early access, so there are a lot of bugs. But once the bugs are fixed, once the levels are actually developed the whole way through, because right now there's only one level available, this looks like one of the games that you should keep an eye out for as far as indie games go.
So,
especially if you're a historical type of person.
So Definitely. We're talking like second most fun thing you can do with one hand sort of deal?
Well, I use WASD with my left hand, so it's actually the number one with my left hand.
Oh,
there you go.
There we go.
TMI, everyone. Welcome to the show.
Next up, enabling the evolution. Use your left hand for more things. Dave the Devourer is an early alpha action adventure 3D platformer. Action adventure 3D game where you play as a spirit in an idyllic spirit realm that is thrown into
hell.
That's a good way of putting it. Thrown into hell to basically do the devil's the devil's bidding. Currently has a lot of really good things going for it. The voice acting in this game is really good, and I'm really hoping that they add a lot more. The writing in it is, I mean, to be fair, some writing in games these days is pretty bad, and this holds up pretty well. It's a really fun game, and I hope to see. I really look forward to see what they can definitely do with it. So,
yeah.
Check that out.
Check it out.
I'm just thinking right now. The description of this video is going to be the most annoying thing in the world to write.
Next up, we have Treasure Adventure World. It's a huge open-world side-scrolling platform game. It's kind of Metroidvania-ish-esque, but not, yeah. You're going around the world, you're searching for ancient artifacts that were powerful weapons in ancient history, and using those to fight a demon. You upgrade your sailboat, and you can find gear to help you treasure hunt better and help you kick more ass. You also discover clues about your forgotten past, and you figure out what was the original origin of the world you live in. Now, this game was actually really interesting to me for a couple of reasons. A, it looks like a lot of fun, and B, it's actually the kind of sequel game, like the game that they wanted to make, but, you know, continuing on and make it bigger and better and better, of Treasure Adventure Game, which is free and out there. So do a search for Treasure Adventure Game, and you can kind of get an idea of what Treasure Adventure World is going to be like.
Next up, while I choke on myself, sorry, excuse me. Well, all right, screw you guys. Anyway, Dimension Drive. Dimension Drive is a fast shmup, if you want to call it that, shoot 'em up, where you play two games at the same time. Dimension Drive has been developed to be played with gamepad or keyboard and can be played on PC, Mac. Oh, it just says PC and Mac without the and. PC or Mac. Kill enemies on one side and recharge your energy for the other. Switch frequently. One really cool thing about this game is that you are playing two. That's what I was talking about. You can play on one side and.
Yeah,
you remember this game?
This one, yes. It had it split on the like your screen. Your game screen is split into two sides, and you switch back and forth between the two of them in order to progress.
Right. It's really cool. It's a really cool concept, and I believe this is also on Steam Greenlight. So go support them there.
Next up is a game called Sirius, and I am going to quote my absolute favorite quote about any game from IndiE3 was about Sirius, and this came from Solon, and it was, "You're flying around and there's like pew pew." So it's a game like think kind of like Freelancer or I can't think of the other one right now, but that kind of style of game, you know, mouse controlled WASD, and you're flying around and you're searching through the galaxy, you're finding belts that you can mine, and there's combat, and it's primarily, like, it's been in development since 2005. They've gone through a couple of different versions of this, as I understand it. They're adding multiplayer, both PvP and cooperative. They're pushing for LAN specifically, but no, check it out. It looks like a lot of fun. I've only been watching videos of other people playing with it because, unfortunately, my laptop won't handle it.
Anything that has LAN connectivity built in is like my favorite thing in the world.
I know, right?
Seriously, like if it means that I have to have my friends bring their desktops down to my basement, have them all plugged in, and turn the coldest room in the house into the hottest damn room of the house to play a game together, like, it's so worth it.
Oh, definite. Unfortunately, minor drawback, and this might change in the future, but at the moment, this is only going to be available for Windows. So Vector Interactive EK is the developer and publisher on this, and it looks great. I want this game so bad.
I think,
run a Hackintosh version.
I think I'm going to start playing some Sarah McLachlan music in the background. If you would like to donate to the Reverend's Laptop Fund,
I'm gonna do a Patreon or whatever it is.
Well, that is the last game of that list. We'll wrap that up there. Next up,
everybody take a breath.
Yeah, let's breathe for just a second. One last thing that I wanted to mention that came to light during IndiE3. In one of our previous episodes, you heard us talking about a game called No More Shadows. No, what was the Shadows game?
Oh, the
Path of Shadows.
Yeah, thank you.
Path of Shadows. It was the free game done by the Spanish team in college. Well, they announced during IndiE3 when they were being showcased, they have a Kickstarter up right now.
Do it.
That game is still installed on my computer, and I've recently purged my computer of a lot of unnecessary stuff. So that just goes to show.
Their Kickstarter is up. I think they're about a week into it at this point. And yeah, I'm super stoked for that. And I shouldn't have, but I've already pledged a little bit.
We'll get that link in the description there. Well, next up are our unofficial Awesome Sauce segment. These are just a few games that we'd like to go a little bit deeper into and discuss some of our favorites out of the list from IndiE3. So stay tuned. I don't really know why I'm saying stay tuned because it's not a bumper. So stay tuned for the next split second as we move on.
Okay, so we are into Awesome Sauce now. Now, if you have talked to me on Twitter or Facebook or Reddit or anything like that, you might have heard me kind of gushing about a game that I have been playing a lot of. I fell in love with this at the trailer that I saw at IndiE3, and I immediately rushed to Steam and I bought myself a copy. And then because Josh was cool and Tech was off playing board games, I bought him a copy. I bought Josh a copy. Sorry. Multiple nouns in there.
I get left out of this one.
Yeah, I'll buy you one later. After pay.
I don't care.
Okay. So, Concursion by Pooba Studios.
Hold on. I got crap going on. Sorry.
What?
Sorry, I had like music blasting on my ears because I opened up a link to one of the games. It was like dur, 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 dur. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so Concursion is a it's a genre-splitting game. Now, if you were listening to our live broadcast, which we are going to be getting a copy of and publishing on for our regular viewers who can't find it, if you're listening to that, we talked about the simplicity. No, we talked about level design, and I really, really, really wanted to put Concursion there. But we got beat out by Super Pixalo because it made a much better game for that. So this genre splits the game. Like, you're playing the old Pac-Man style, you're playing a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up game, you're playing a Commander Keen style game, you're playing a Ninja Gaiden style game, and they're all mixed into the same level. Like you will be running through a section as your default adventurer, collecting these little gem pieces to go rescue the princess, and all of a sudden you have to get from where you're at on this one platform all the way across to the other side, and you can only jump once. And there's no enemies for you to jump off of as the adventurer, but you notice that there's this little bubble about halfway there that's just big enough for you to land in, and if you're holding your action button correctly, you land in that, and you turn into this little kid in a rocket pack, and he launches up, and he maintains momentum as he launches out of that bubble and changes back to the adventurer, and then you continue on to your next platform. The whole game is mixed in with these. You have to use these genre changers in order to change yours. Sorry, like I said, the beer's getting to me. These genre changers and use those to complete the level. It's time based, so you get a better score the faster you go. You got to collect your gems. It starts getting much more complicated the deeper you go into the game. Like, you have enemies that shoot the genre bubbles at you and will like actively be trying to screw you up. So you're expecting to be able to slide on a wall, but no, they just shot a Pac-Man thing at you, and now you just fall and you're screwed, you know?
I'm going to be honest. I, for one, let me just preface this with saying I suck terribly at platforming. And that's the very first thing you have to do is a scrolling platformer, basically, at high speeds, because it doesn't really. I mean, it teaches you, but it teaches you quickly on the fly. So you're just like, okay, I'm gonna go, and it's like sprint. I'm like, okay, and I sprint. I'm sprinting, not realizing that I don't have to sprint the entire time, but I'm thinking I'm like it told me to run, so I'm just running, and then I'm like, I like overshoot, like the platforms or like an enemy I have to bounce off of or something like that. So that's the very first part. So I was raging like crazy, and I suck so terribly. I didn't get that far in the game to experience too many of the other genres. But that's another game where, again, it was talking about kind of with Corey's scred, where it made me rage, but it's not to the point where I'm like, oh crap, I gotta start over, do this again. It just makes you
really fast.
Yeah, you just slip right back into it when you
it does have checkpoint systems, so you're not gonna, if you die, you're not gonna get screwed over and have to start the whole game again, which is a very good thing. But it's all seamless transition. Like you think genre changing bubbles, and you're like, oh, it's gonna be loading screen. And you go into the next. No, this is literally you jump into a line, and suddenly you are now a ninja, or you are the spaceship. So quick. I'm not super rushing through, and my average level completion time is like 2.5 minutes, and I'm in world 3 or something like that.
And another really cool thing about this is that not only is it messing with your head with a lot of different mechanics changes through the levels, but it all makes sense in the story. This isn't just a, hey guys, look at all these mechanics we can make. It's a cool tech demo, right? Haha. No, you actually have a goal. It all makes sense. Like, it's like, 2 + 2 = 4 in this game, and you go, and I support
nice.
that.
Yeah.
And one thing that I definitely wanted to mention, because it is really, really kind of cool to me as somebody who's a bit of an audiophile, they actually had to get a version of the soundtrack, every song, by Emmy-nominated composer Christopher Hogue. You might recognize his work from House. Gregory House D.
But he did not do the intro music, just so everyone knows.
He didn't do the intro music. He was the composer for all of that stuff. But he created 5 different versions of every song, so that as you switched between genres, it would switch with you. So like you could literally be like jumping through a bubble, and you get like 3 beats of super techno space music version, and then you fall back down into feudal Japan or instrumental version. It's amazing.
The transitions in this game are fantastic. That's probably my favorite thing from what I was able to experience before just sucking terribly.
So okay,
this game looks so cool.
The next one?
Yeah, we can do
this one.
No, well,
we can do the next one.
Oh.
Yeah, we can do the next one here. The next one is a game. Again, this is a Kickstarter game. It's called. What did we agree on? A Song for Vigo? Is that what we're agreeing on?
Vigo, yeah.
Okay,
we're going Vigo with the Ghostbusters 2 pronunciation.
A Song for Vigo. The game is created by a German, or I'm sorry, not German, Swedish indie dev. So maybe there's a way that they were pronouncing it, but I'm pronouncing it Vigo. Again, the Kickstarter. The Kickstarter is has about 6 days to go as of this recording, and they're less than $5,000 away from their goal of $20,000, which really isn't that much for when I'm going to be playing the gameplay or the trailer or something like that while we're talking here. But it's really not that much when you consider how much work went into this.
Oh yeah,
this guy. If you're not looking at it, if you're just listening to us, this guy created the entire game from big things to tiny little details made out of paper. Stop motion paper art. And he actually had to stop for a little bit because he ran out of paper and he didn't have the funds. But this,
more paper.
It's a point and click game about dealing with depression. I know you say you don't like really playing these like heavy.
We'll see. I don't like the emotional games, but I'm a big proponent of stop motion animation because stop motion animation was how I got into like the film industry. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I might make an exception.
This one's going to be an emotional game. This one's going to be an emotional game.
Yeah,
very emotional. And to just give you like a little bit of, without spoiling too much, but basically the beginning of the game starts off with your kid dying because of you backed over him with a car. And then the whole game.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Oh,
it does.
Starting, you got to caveat that Accidentally.
Accidentally.
Oh, of course.
Not on purpose, little bastard. No.
Hold, what? I think I had a squirrel, honey. Hold on, let me put it out of its misery. Oh no, Jimmy!
No, it was on accident, and the game is about you and your family dealing with the aftermath. And obviously a large part of that is depression. And the dev, Simon Carlson, who admitted himself that he deals with depression, this is a really good outlet for him, as well as, I guess, probably other people who play this too. It's very cathartic. And just to go back to the paper art, it's very moody and very, I don't know, it matches this game so well. And it's beautiful, and
it's so detailed.
The amount of detail,
looks so good.
The amount of detail, not only and the amount of just work that goes into it, not only with the actual paper art, but you're talking stop motion. Stop motion is a lot of work. He's doing this all in like a corner of his house. Yeah, he's doing this with it all in a corner of his house. You know, it's like there's a little area set up for where he puts up all his scenes, and it's just so much work. And all that, you know that there is just an incredible amount of passion put into this. And that's what impresses me the most. Just the dedication, the drive, the will, the passion that is obviously put into this game. And this you know, we talked about Sumo Boy and messages and things like that, and it was a great game, and it's definitely a game worth kickstarting. And I was like, wow, if you're going to kickstart any game, you know,
do that one. But now I'm like, holy crap, man! A song for Vigo is just took it up another level. So please, like, do all you can, because like I said, less than $5,000 away at the time of this recording, 6 days to go. Get this thing to 20,000 so he can finish this game and get it out there.
I don't think that there has been a game that's been made like this that's been worth playing. In a long time, at least. Like, we're talking stop motion.
Well, okay, so you're talking about like stop motion games.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like
there's not like
style-wise,
there's not a huge market of that. I mean, because
exactly,
again, it's a lot of work.
And it's like even if you're not like into the story of it, like me, get behind the fact that this guy is doing something innovative with the medium.
Yeah, just the fact that,
like, yeah. I mean, what else can I say?
Absolutely.
Wow. So I'm gonna throw this out if for anybody that's kind of listening in on this, they're like his rewards for backers. I wish I had a lot more expendable money right now. If you get if you pledge $50 or more, you get a physical CD of the soundtrack with a handmade signed paper cover by him. Plus, the next step down is the $30, and that is includes the short documentary Unfolding. That is the documentary around the creation of this project, digital copy of the game and the soundtrack, etc. Like, if you go even higher than that, like, some of those are absolutely cool. If you pledge $100 to this, you get one of the actual paper models used in the game, signed by him, plus everything else before.
That's just for collecting purposes. That brings out like the collecting nerd in me. I'm just like, I want that for my wall.
I know. It's like, if I had $100 right now, I would click this button and do it.
Look, if you have $2,000 though, you can always go and he'll take you to a concert in Sweden if you can get to Sweden. Which, by the way, there is. I just noticed this because at the time when he did the interview on IndiE3 about his game, he didn't have anyone that pledged $2,000. But it looks like he has a backer that pledged $2,000. So congratulations, man! That's a big push for him.
So wow, go check it out.
Yeah. Next is another game that I apparently am the only one that has a really hard on, like a big hard on for. Not that Rev doesn't like it or Tech doesn't like it, but I apparently am just like ready to jump all over this, and they're like, let's see more. But anyway, it's called We Need to Go Deeper. And that...
Amazing.
we...
Wow, I just got that.
Thank you for that. We Need to Go Deeper is a 2 to 4 cooperative submarine roguelike set in... Now everything I think of is a double entendre. Okay. Set in a Verne-inspired undersea universe, and Verne meaning Jules Verne, like as in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. In the game, you and your crew must embark on many voyages into a mysterious undersea trench known as the Living Infinite. Ooh, mysterious. To be successful in your mission, you and your crew will have to work together to pilot a submarine, as only with your submersible intact will you be able to live to see the bottom of the Living Infinite. The first thing that struck me about this game was its art style. You think Jules Verne, you think steampunk, and this art theme hits it right on the head. It's dark yet cartoony. It's like comedic undertones to it. How because the steampunk part of it is kind of dark, but at the same time they're kind of making it a little bit quirky. Is a good word for it, I think, as far as the art goes.
That's a very good word.
Yeah.
And what's also cool is that you can. It's again, if you're into like customizing your characters and things like that, you can customize your own adventurer, if you will. And again, 2 to 4 player co-op. So me, Rev, and Tech, because hopefully, Deli Interactive is the developing studio for this, and they said that. They might be able to get us some keys to give it a try and give it a good, a better review outside of what we've seen, and maybe change Rev's and Tech's minds about it.
I don't know. I think it looks pretty cool. I just haven't seen enough about it.
That's my thing. Like I want to see an entire campaign through it and what that goes through.
So, but maybe the three of us can play, and maybe we can get one of you guys to play. I don't know. We can turn it into like a little fun. I don't know, contest or something, or you could just like, hey, who wants to play with us? I don't know.
Play with the hosts of Indie Game Riot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every person's dream.
Stream, actually.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Silent auction at 2 cents.
Yeah, silent auction 2 cents.
And it has actually already been greenlit by Steam Greenlight community, so it is already on its way, no matter whether you like it or not.
Yeah, exactly. And are we done with this?
It's got LAN support.
Yeah.
Oh, does it? Oh, sold.
Has LAN and internet.
10 out of 10.
LAN support, internet.
All my money.
The only downside,
it's not for
Linux.
Linux.
That I can see is that they don't yet have it for Linux, but they're investigating that possibility.
PC and Mac. That's the only one. I'm not sure if they also have like a little contest going on. I'm not sure if it's still happening, but it's called Thinking with Portholes, and it's a little, obviously it's off of Portal's tagline, but they're doing a giveaway contest, and basically it's like a piece of fan art using their. No, it's over.
You draw. It's over. Okay. Well, ignore that then.
June 15th. But anyway, it was pretty cool, and they had that going on. So just by that, they're obviously pretty connected to the community. So don't feel like you're just going to be stuck with a game that never gets anything from the devs.
Yep. Yeah.
Now you can go head Tech.
Okay. Oh, thanks, guys. Okay. The last game that we're talking about tonight, or today, depending on the time of day you like listening to your podcasts, is a game called Lumo. And I think all of you can agree, when I first saw this game, I was just like, how is this game not going to cost $40? This game, you know?
Yeah, no.
I didn't think cost first. I'm with Josh on this one. When I first saw this, it was the first trailer that they showcased, the first game that they showcased at IndiE3, and when I was watching this, I was like, oh my, wow, every game, like, they are setting the bar here.
Yeah, it looks
my
amazing.
Second cost.
Yeah, exactly. For one, the art style, you play as a wizard in a 150-room puzzle adventure isometric museum death trap thing, basically. And the world sort of generates around you in some regard. There are a lot of puzzles to the different rooms that you go through. You're adventuring through this place, sort of even though it doesn't like go into this, I sort of get this sort of like discover yourself through the game sort of feel from it. Mm-hmm. As weird as that, like, you guys can sort of understand where I'm going with this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like as you adventure, you sort of like learn more about like who you are in this world and the puzzles. Exactly. And the puzzles look like challenging, but not too like, oh god, I have to sit down and get a piece of paper to solve this one. It's more like a trial and error sort of, okay, here's the mechanic. How do I get around the mechanic to get to the next door? And everything just feels so organic and lifelike, and the colors are beautiful, and the setting is just... There's so much we could talk about this game, just nitpicking and going deeper and deeper into the different details, but there's just so much good about this that I am so excited for this game.
That I devolved into the first grade. And like,
but hey, like, you guys can relate to that. I mean,
no, I certainly can.
Well, and like Rev was saying too, like this was the very first trailer that they showed at IndiE3, and it was like, because we all went into IndiE3. We wanted it to succeed. We wanted that to happen because we support indie games, and that's what this was all about. And God, man, indie devs and indie games. Excuse me. And then we all went into it just being like, we don't really know what to expect. Is this going to be just like thrown together sloppily? Are they gonna, is it just gonna be like some guys in their freaking living room and are sitting in their boxers telling us about some indie game
which was too far from what was the case?
No, they made the best of what they had, because I mean they were in some guy's living room, but the guy had a lot of professional equipment, and they had a nice backdrop.
Props out to Logic for that.
Yeah, they had a nice backdrop. They made it look professional. I mean, there were a couple times the only reason we knew they were in their living room is because a couple times they were like,
showed us.
Here's behind the scenes. This is what we're dealing with right now.
They rotated the webcam, and they're like, there's the monitor where he's playing the voice of God, and here's the door, and oh, that's his laundry basket. And he's like, yeah, I got to go do laundry as soon as we're done broadcasting.
Yeah, and I mean, really, what do you expect for something that happened like that over 4 days? They did a great job.
Yeah. No,
Same goes for these games, because we were like, okay, is this just going to be a bunch of like crappy Flash games that people just throw out onto like armorgames.com or something like that? And
not saying that all games that go out on those platforms are crappy, but
you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, there was a lot of trepidation there.
Yeah. So and this really did. We were like, wow, if this is what we have to look forward to, this is going to be an amazing week, and it was.
I'm still like, every once in a while, like, I still have several files, notepad files open on my computer right now that has just links and information. I've got 37 bookmarks that I have yet to be able to work my way through from, some of the panels. Like oh my God, some of the panels were just amazing, and they had so much deeper information. They're like, we're so sorry we don't have 10 hours to go through all of this. Here's links to all of these papers, and the treatise on why Metal Gear Solid and sexism was an issue back at the day and today, and
very insightful.
So much stuff.
Very insightful.
So much stuff, definitely.
Yeah. And just, I don't know, IndiE3 was amazing, and I hope it happens again. I hope it gets even better, because I have a full year to plan now, and I hope we get to participate again. And by the way, talking about, since we did our live show there, we're, as soon as we can, we're going to get just the part of our live show. We're going to try and get that up on the channel. Just so you guys can have that as part of the episode. And for those of you that missed it, of course, you can check out the stuff on IndiE3. You can check the stuff out on IndiE3's channel as well. Like, if you want the full thing, we're just going to do ours though. One other,
they've already got like 30 of the videos and panels up, and it's so much awesome. I want to go back and rewatch it, but I know it's like 36 hours of recording.
And also, while we were going through the other like 25 game list up top there, I remembered that a couple of the devs actually gave us some extra codes that we can give away. like last time, and hopefully these don't all of a sudden become free again. Well, that would be nice for everyone, but you know what I mean. We're gonna try and give them away. We'll do it in our subreddit. Again, that's /r/Indie Game Riot, and we'll
enable the evolution.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. 2 in a row.
We'll figure out.
2 in the episode.
We'll figure out. It'll probably be something like tell us what your favorite thing about the indie game community is, or something like that. I don't know. Check the Reddit for details. You'll see it at the top of our Reddit, and just you can enter and just real quick.
So what games can they win?
Yeah, the games, Quarries of Scred. I have one extra code for Quarries of Scred. Again, that's the one that's like an 80s arcade style, very simplistic.
Boulder Dash, Dig Duggian type game.
And it is really fun. It's really addictive and really frustrating for me personally. But frustrating because I just suck.
Was there an operating system limitation on that one? I don't recall.
Well, why don't you go scroll?
I don't think so.
Scroll up to the other one. I'll explain the other one.
Okay.
Like click on the link and tell me.
Yeah.
But the second game is the iOS-only game called Afternoon Hero. I think, Tech, you talked about that one?
I did.
No,
that was Rev.
That was me.
Rev talked about that one.
I talked about the other game.
It's not iOS only. Sorry, it's not iOS only. It's that we have only codes for iOS. So, for those of you who have iOS devices, phones, iPads, what have you, we have, I think, 2 or 3 codes for that one. So again, we'll give those away in the Indie Game Riot subreddit.
2 codes.
2 codes.
I believe it was. Yeah, we received 3, but Tech's the only one that has access to.
So I'll try one of those out.
Yeah.
So he'll be using one, and we'll be giving away the remaining 2.
Right. Did you find out the?
It doesn't say.
You have to have Java.
No, actually, there's 3. I just looked down.
Oh, we do.
So
okay.
He gave us 4 codes, and so 3 of them we're going to give.
So there is 3.
Yep, 3.
3 lucky winners.
And Quarries of Scred requires Java 1.6.
So it's an old Java, so everyone has it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unless you're running DOS. So congratulations. You should probably just give up on computers.
And if you're running DOS, how are you listening to this podcast?
That's pretty impressive.
Is it coming from an internal speaker or something? Like, did you build?
They modified a ham radio.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to see if you could find, have you ever seen those old maybe not, but the filters that you can overlay in VLC or Winamp that overlays over the video and changes it all to ASCII art? I wonder if they have an auditory filter that could do the same thing.
That would be hard.
They're listening to us as though it was 8-bit us.
That'd be kind of interesting.
That might work.
I'm very interested in this.
I'm going to see if it exists, and if not, I can't make it. But
hopes up, hopes then trounced on.
Yep.
So that is the end of the show. That was a lot of games to blow you all away, but please
so many good ones.
Take your time to check out the links in the description or on our subreddit and go support them. They need as much support as they can get because these are indie devs. They don't have the budget for promotion and ads and all that sort of stuff. So greenlight them, kickstart them, buy their games, whatever you need to do. And especially those ones that we talked about. And there's other ones up actually in the list. And there's a ton from IndiE3. So if you go check out the IndiE3 videos, they have all the trailers and stuff like that. You can go check them out there. See if you have your own personal favorites, things like that. Go support indie devs.
Hashtag IndiE3.
Yeah, hashtag IndiE3 was the Twitter hashtag. Yeah. So at the end of the show, again, like I said, I was going to, throughout this whole show, we've had music that's different from our usual, and hopefully, just to let you all know again, hopefully we can continue to do that. If you're an indie video game musician, we'll stick to video game. Well, I don't want to be one of those hipster we like Pabst. I don't know. But
goodbye, Pabst PBR drinkers.
Yeah. Actually, Pabst isn't that bad, to be honest.
No,
it's okay.
Yeah, it's alright.
No, it's bad.
It's
horrible.
For a cheap beer, though? For a cheap beer?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But anyway, if you make music, especially for video games, indie games, and things like that, let us know. We can feature your game in the background like we did today, and then give you a shout out at the end so people can go check you out. Music. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. No, multiple musics. Multiple musics, and yes, I did put a plural at the end of that. And today, the music that you hear today is by, I think, is Layla or Leela. I'm not sure how you would pronounce that, actually. It's Leila. Not sure which way you would prefer. Wilson is her last name, a.k.a. Woofle. We'll put the link to her SoundCloud where you can find all of her music there. So go check her out and support her as well. Yeah?
Definitely. Yeah,
definitely.
No, I've been listening to the people that have submitted music to us for the last couple of days. I've thrown it on in the background while I'm playing, games or reading or something like that, and I like them all. Like, how are we going to choose which tracks to do?
Well, that's why I have the hard job. And actually, I'm going to try and get some of those freaking awesome musicians from IndiE3 as well, and try and see if they'll let me use their music on the show, because man, those are so amazing. I mean, these guys, the two people, we've had two people so far, because it was only recently that I asked for this, but we've had two people so far send us their music, and they're awesome. It's great music, but some of that music at IndiE3 was amazing as well, and I really want to get them on the show as much as possible, because man, loved it.
Networking and awesomeness. Yep. If we can share with you the awesomeness that we experienced and that we're going to continue experiencing as we progress through all of this, that just makes the whole thing fantastic.
Speaking of networking, you can find us on various social networks. The show is hosted on my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/JaShinYa Gaming. That's spelled JaShiNYA, and then the word gaming. That is where it's hosted, and you can obviously find us on Twitter. We mentioned that before. You can tweet us at IGR Podcast. Facebook.com/IGR Podcast is where you can find us there. Reddit, for the millionth time, is reddit.com/r/Indie Game Riot. Our website for the time being is igrpodcast.webs.com. Hopefully we'll get that changed soon, and we'll get a little bit...
I have authorization from my wife that I can buy a domain and set up hosting out of our next paycheck.
So it might happen soon, guys.
It might. Very soon. It might take a couple of weeks to get everything all set up and prettified, but it's...
And then all of a sudden, all the previous episodes are obsolete in their information.
Thank everyone. Thank Rev.
Yeah, definitely.
In the future.
In the future, yeah. I was going to say retrospect, but that doesn't make any sense. But anyway.
No. Thank Rev in the past.
And lastly, you can contact us. There's a contact form on that website, but you can also contact us directly by emailing me, JaShinYaGaming@gmail.com. Wow, that was a lot of games, guys.
That was a lot of yeah.
But I loved it. It was amazing. Amazing IndiE3, amazing Origins.
And I'm still pumped up again.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, one more.
Ready for next week.
It's 1 a.m, but I'm not going to go to sleep soon.
Well, so. Next week we'll get back to our standard format, but hopefully we'll be able to keep on supporting the indie musicians as well. Any last words, gentlemen?
I'm out of beer now.
Well, that's a shame. I guess you should say goodbye if you're out of beer.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Have a good one, everybody. It's been great.
I'll see you guys next time.
Toodles. It's hot as balls in here.
Same.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I got my windows open. I'm wearing a hoodie and sweatpants. And
yeah, but you're scrawny.
And I shaved my beard, so...
Oh, no.
I thought you were going to say, I shaved my balls.
It's actually really funny. Like, when I got back from Origins, my beard was really big. And my girlfriend loves my beard. And she looks at me and goes, maybe you should trim your beard. And I'm just like, are you breaking up with me? Like, are we going to Olive Garden right now? We have this we have this rule, right? And you can put this at the end of the show. This will be funny as shit. We have this rule to where, or this agreement to where, if either of us wants to break up with the other one, the way that we'll do it with the least amount of drama is we will take the other one to Olive Garden, and the other person will know.
So for the love of God, never go to Olive Garden. Yeah. It would be funny if I ever meet up with you guys. Like, you guys want to go to Olive Garden or something?